We're here at the High Growth Podcast, where cannabis founders and industry insiders tell all. I'm Chelsea, your host today, along with my colleague Dustin. And today we are here with Alec from Slumber and Mike from MBM Labs. And specifically, they have a really great partnership and case study kind of in industry specialization and how they brought those products to market. And with that, I'll introduce you. We'll start with Alec, if you want to give us a little background about Slumber, and then pop it on over to Mike.
Sure. Well, thank you for having us today. And so Slumber is a boutique sleep aid company founded in Denver, Colorado. And, I would say we necessarily did not start thinking that we were going to become 100% hemp focused, right? We became solution oriented in the fact that we want to get people to sleep. Hemp and the cannabinoid system was like the first thing that we started to focus on. So we pride ourselves really being boutique, small batch, gummies, tinctures, and capsules, and really have enjoyed working with the plant. And to date, over 150,000 customers and growing. And we'd like to say that, your best day really starts at night. So glad to be here.
Nice. Bravo. Congrats on that success so far. Mike, do you want to kind of give us an intro?
Sure. And again, thanks for having us both. And excited for Alec and I to be on here together, because MBM is basically spurred off from my time working at Slumber, trying to find more efficient ways to help this industry grow and thrive. I appreciate Alec's words being boutique, because we are a boutique manufacturers focusing primarily on hemp, cannabinoid based products, but we do other manufacturing as well. But we're trying to take on the role of the manufacturing piece, so that the brands, much like Slumber, can be focused on what they really get dialed in and good at, and allow them to just really thrive on their sales and marketing efforts. And we kind of do the R&D and heavy lifting of manufacturing behind that, so that we have a good relationship. So that is kind of why MBM exists, to allow brands to have manufacturing and pick, pack, and ship type services to just add that efficiency to the entire supply chain.
That's great. And how did you guys kind of find your way into this industry specifically?
Well, so I went to school. I was in Colorado for 18 years. Graduated from DU, and it was right at the time when legalization was starting to move into the space, right? So this would have pegged us at about 2014, 2015. So as a young website developer and brander, I was working for numerous dispensaries. Spent some time with the LiveWell team, Denver Clone Store. And that was like the good old days when you're literally paid in cash, because there was no banking. So that evolved into working with a company called GoFire, who was kind of working through the idea of a vaporizer meets Fitbit technology, and then spending time within the gummy world with Wana, building their website and some of their commercials and work on that side. So I think stumbling into the industry, I don't think you actually, as a marketer, choose in the beginning to be in the cannabis or hemp space. It was a kind of an evolution, but Denver just was kind of the Silicon Valley of hemp in that beginning. So it was a good fit, and here we are about 10 years later.
Nice. And then you and Mike kind of found each other at Slumber. Mike, did you ever think you would be in cannabis?
No, I really didn't. I'm a kind of a traditional old sales guy. I've got a few more years on Alec, as you can probably tell. But it was really fun for me to step into what was a really fast-growing CBD industry. These companies, I had some partners that had a different company, and it was thriving, and they could not keep up with managing sales. And I jumped in with some of my more old school traditional methods, and found some success doing that, and able to have a liquidation event that company sold. And that's when I was bumped into Alec at Slumber, and seeing his young energy and just tremendous variety of skills that he was bringing from sales and marketing, and quickly realized that my skill set, while effective in managing, there was a whole new world out there, and it was fun to see Alex and the team he was running just thriving. So made me rethink what I was doing, and just looked at the entire process, saw brands struggling with, primarily they were trying to do too much of the entire vertical, and that's so I said, well, that's a perfect opportunity to allow Alec and his energies to thrive and grow, and I pivoted into something that would be more additive to the team, and add basically we're trying to add speed and velocity to what they're doing, and his sales, since us taking the manufacturing thoughts off of his mind, he's been able to just really thrive. It's really been fun to see what he has done with Slumber now that he's just really focused on his sales and marketing efforts.
So what would you say, Mike? What's your favorite part about what you do, your favorite part of the business?
Well, it's exactly that. So I've really been, we've been doing a lot of evaluating of how we've done since our inception here, and the people that the brands that we've done the manufacturing for, their sales are, I'm not the one throwing numbers out, from Alec, but his company has really thrived, as have several other of our clients. So it's really, really fun to see, by specializing in this, offering this for people, that there's been so much growth. It's been good for me, and it's really been good for them. So that's the part I like about it. That's what gets me up in the morning.
Absolutely. On that, what does feel like MBM offers that no one else does to partners like Slumber?
I think that word boutique is key. We're allowed. It allows us to make smaller MOQs or R&D type runs where, Alec comes up with a cool idea or something he's excited about. He can throw the idea and the concept at us, so we can use our R&D kitchen to test that and make it. Most manufacturers are going to have much higher volumes and strictures that make things a little unaffordable for that. So we allow that flexibility for brands to come in with us, do some exploring, find what works, and then pivot. We're frankly, we're in a industry that regulation changes a lot. So we have to be nimble and able to adjust and go with the flow and be in compliance for all of our clients. So that boutique lower MOQ opportunity, I think, is advantageous for a lot of brands.
Yeah, and just to add on to that is the digital marketing space. I mean, we have an AI boom right now. Marketing and content right now is moving at a speed that is unprecedented, right? So as a brand, when I have a bunch of yellow and red tape around 6-month lead times, tons of R&D, like I'm already late, beyond late, so competitors are moving faster, especially competitors that are completely vertically integrated and well capitalized. So MBM allows Slumber to be incredibly agile. And in this space right now, you have to make pivots, you have to change containers, you got to update molds, and you don't have the time to wait 6-7 months to get this stuff done. So MBM's helped us be really, really agile to the market, especially to Mike's point, when it comes to R&D, we want to be really, really unique with some of these new batches. And we put together, we took a formula with one of our previous top selling gummies and completely complicated this thing. And we added 5 or 6 herbs. We added Azuka fast technology, but we're also pivoting to where the industry is moving. And MBM has allowed us to do stuff, in 60, 90 days, where it would take another spot 6, 7, 8 months.
Yeah. So you kind of started to touch on that. Would you say that that's your biggest pain point is time to market, or kind of what keeps you guys up at night?
I think, as from a brand side, I think anybody can build a beautiful website, put together a gorgeous label, and make a sale. The sale's not the difficult part. What helps a company is a returning customer. So at the end of the day, like pain point wise, as a brand, I don't want to think about quality checks from a manufacturer. Like I need to know that like they are, when they produce a single gummy or a product for us, that experience is like our signature. That's our autograph, right? Every single time. So the importance of that, and I'd probably drive Mike and Ethan crazy, but like I am really, really OCD. Like, and I open up a package, I'm like, hey, let's bring the brick count up 15%. I don't want it moist. Like we're not a sugar coated gummy. We're not a mass produced product. So like some brands have the luxury of running through huge machines. They sugarcoat it. If it's dry and stale, no problem. It has, they put it on the shelf. With Slumber, like I want people to experience like a truly what it feels like to have a handcrafted gummy. And that pain point has been resolved with MBM immensely. Like I know when they pop the gummy molds that they know, one, a Slumber is going to look at that, but two, that's their customer, right? Like for me, it's, I know when Mike delivers a product, he knows that if my customer is not happy, I'm not happy, and it affects the whole chain. So that care is so important. Because I think the industry has lost this in speed, because the industry explodes and something's going to fall through the cracks. And then with a lot of brands, I think it is quality.
Yeah. What about you, Mike? Anything to add to that? What keeps you up at night besides trying to meet Alex standards?
Well, Alex certainly creative and unique, and that's why the Slumber brand continues to thrive, because they keep one, they just have really high efficacy products, fun to make them.
Yeah.
But you want to make them, when you get your subscription this month, when you get your jar next month, we want the same experience, so it's trusted. I think that's where we've gotten, and we've worked together to make sure that happens. Like he mentioned, bricks, that's kind of the water content in the gummy, how firm, how squishy, just that experience is very important. So we're almost like swirling a glass of wine. We can get pretty specific to how we do that, and Alec knows how we want them. We can meet that standard, and that's good. Keeps me up at night, just regulatory changes. This is such an evolving industry, and it started like Alex started like when he's right out of school. It's taken a number of twists and turns. I think it continues to get better and better for everyone, because these are great products with tremendous efficacy. Just the better we can do it, the better products we can make, the more trusted they are, and the more likely they are to be more broadly accepted than they currently are. And so that's what Alec and I are working together to prove that we can do this really well every time, and keep it safe, keep it just a great experience.
Any thoughts on the recent, kind of coming out of the shutdown, the federal ban on certain hemp products? How's that affecting you guys? Is that keeping you up, or have you kind of already how are you handling that?
Mike, you want to take that first?
Yeah, I will jump on that, Alec. Obviously it bugs us a little bit. We like to have more voice, a little steering when things get tucked in like 11th hour like that, a little underhanded. But it's not the first time this has happened. They've made a lot of decisions like that seem like a total sledgehammer effect. But then with some time, logic seems to prevail, and that's what we're hoping in this case, and we think it will. But this legalization of cannabis had to happen some way. And Colorado was the first to do it. We kind of just broke the ice. Other states followed. Things have changed. It's going to continue to evolve, and so this is really the first time that the federal government has ever allowed any type of permitted any level of cannabis to be in a product. So that's one thing that happens. So we need to kind of build on that opportunity and keep seeing this as an opportunity. But Alec has he continues to market and get promote these products and get them all the way to the end. And it seems like the last hurdle we run into, and Alec, maybe you can transition to this, where you get something, they love it, they've tested it, they want to shout it from the rooftops how wonderful these products are. Then the lawyers get it, and everything gets kind of shelved. They pivot to some other product that is not nearly as efficacious, not nearly as good, but they just can't quite get that past the hurdle. So that's the challenge to Alec and me and other brands in this industry, to be very responsible, so that this can be a trusted manufacturing process, delivery process, and just experience that includes all ages of people. So Alec, maybe you can talk a little bit about struggles that you've had, 11th hour people getting squashed by legal when they're just not quite ready to adopt this fully.
Yeah, no, I mean, just to go to the first point, Slumber, we were very public with a press release when that ruling happened. Immense amount of disappointment in the lack of grounded logic and science. And I think that's the one thing that is irritating is Slumber. Are we for regulation? 100%. I love regulation. Regulation means that the industry can grow, we can mature, we can actually evolve beyond sometimes of the shadows. Do bad actors and people that exploit loopholes and synthetic THCs, yeah, knock them out, have regulation. I'm all for that. The issue with that is, I think, the lack of oversight of the federal government not to look at states like Colorado, even California, who was very, very strict last year with some of the rulings. There was so many better ways to approach that bill. And I think the hard part as a brand like Slumber is, if I was a super heady shop selling a 15 milligram monster gummy, I know that deep inside, I know I'm exploiting a loophole. There's no way that you can do that. In our case, I have an average audience demographic of about 65, 70 years old, and they're making a decision between Tylenol PM, Ambien, or high doses of antihistamines, and they find a gummy that has 3.2 milligrams of THC and CBN. When I look at that, it's like I'm now wrapped up with all of the negative press of hemp and something that's supposed to be sold to, children and branding. And I'm looking at that, I'm like, great, like for us at Slumber, our net goal is always to focus on I need to get you to sleep so you can have a better night and a better day. It's very simple. So as a brand now, we're looking at this and saying, I know the power of the hemp plant. I know it really works for people. I know it's not habit forming. We have all the data to back that. But as a brand now, like with Mike, I agree. I think that we are going to see some pushback. We'll see lawsuits, and we're hoping to see something get amended. But at the end of the day, if it does not, we are put in a position with Mike where we are going to spend the next 6 to 10 months reformulating, communicating to customers, and working on other herbs and dose levels to actually mimic what we can with THC without crossing the line. So as a brand, it's definitely not how we wanted to spend 2026.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, to jump to further that, Alec, great response there, but because it is frustrating, but it did have to start some way. Cannabis, started tiptoed in. We have what I think is an absolutely horrible dispensary experience. Like Alec's demographic, those people do not want to roll into a dispensary and have that experience. So hopefully, obviously they're probably, the marijuana side, the regulated side is a little upset with this hemp side, and that they feel like as if we've exploited loopholes. We've just made it more available to more people. They are subjected to some really, really arcane, crazy regulation that hopefully they see an opportunity here now that the federal government has recognized some, cannabis content in products that they can move more to what we're doing, and be as trusted in, like I said earlier, in manufacturing, distribution, just like we do alcohol. We trust the delivery and the sales of that and the points in which we sell and buy that. These products, can be as trusted as that. And I think we don't need, a really, really uncomfortable, awkward dispensary experience to enjoy these benefits. That being said, just like Alan said, we didn't knock out the bad actors, knock out the synthetic, just crazy, high dose things that just are irresponsible. But if we can agree to that, which I think most people would be willing to do, cannabis can exist throughout this country very, very safely and responsibly, and the biggest thing, with great results.
Yeah. So, challenges aside, how are you growing your business through that?
Well, I'm trying to find more and more big thinkers like Alec, people who are fantastic marketers and get this stuff to product and have great results for their customers. So if I can add efficiency and allow them to be focused, I just need more brands to find us, understand what we do, and we'll work together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and from a brand growth side, as a marketer, as much as I love the hemp and cannabis space, the red tape on advertising has always been a struggle. So one of the things that we're focused on, we have been focused on for the last year, is just making sure that we are hitting as many channels as possible. This year we went into Amazon with hemp-free products and working on nutraceuticals and herbs, with reishi mushroom gummies, items with a new sleep powder that we're going to be launching in a few weeks here that's really focused on magnesium. So for us as a brand, we also realize, I think many hemp companies, for some reason, get into this headspace that I'm like, oh, if it doesn't have hemp, we won't touch it. I'm like, yeah, but there's herbs that have been used incredibly successfully since 3500 BC, and there's things out there that are actually really, really beneficial. So I think as a brand at Slumber, I don't like to always just call us a hemp brand, because we are sleep oriented and we have daytime products to help you be calm and happy and relieve aches and pains and things like that. It does not always have to be hemp. So as regulation changes, there's also different channels. We want to be on a Whole Foods shelf, whether that is with a hemp gummy one day. I'd love to see the industry move to that direction, obviously. it's most likely going to be with a sleep powder and a non-hemp product too. So we're growing both in the hemp side, and then we're also growing non-hemp SKUs as well to diversify.
So customer first, pain points first, solutions, they kind of expand outside of that. Any follow-ups, Dustin?
No.
Okay.
No, I think
Well,
Um,
as you can tell from Alex's expansion there, he's kept our R&D kitchen quite busy. So we're making some really, really cool little products that are about to hit the market. They're going to be very exciting. So
Yeah, we're pumped.
absolutely.
yeah,
So
it's
we'll
fun,
leave that
fun to
with,
make them.
yeah, with you guys. Is there anything you want to leave the audience with? Any kind of last words you want to share or let people know about?
I can give Mike a plug really quick. So I think one of the things with MBM, as much as I don't want other brands to find him, is again looking beyond the hemp side. So I have pushed the MBM lab. Slumber, as a corporation, owns 3 other brands that are non-hemp based, and I have pushed the R&D kitchen to some pretty unique requests. And that's the one thing that I love is when you find a manufacturing partner. Like I said before, it's their brand does not see their logo, but it's the same exact relationship. And when you find a company like MBM where you work with Mike and MBM, it is beyond hemp. And that's the best part is I've pushed them through building sugar-free creatine gummies. We've done nootropics. We have done so many things to that lab, and they are not easy formulas. I mean, we're sending them 7 or 10 things. There is multiple different temperatures and cooking steps. And that's the one thing is I would always encourage a brand to find a partner that can actually get into the weeds with you, that understands that there's mutual success. And that's just very, very happy with the relationship we built with MBM and, for the future. So it's very helpful.
I appreciate that, Alec. That's a great plug. And yeah, but from my perspective, as I started, great to see the success that Slumber's enjoyed since we pivoted to this relationship, and I think you're going to continue to thrive. And every time you win, I win. So that's great. Thank you both for the opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you
Certainly.
so much.
Great.
Have a great
appreciate your
weekend.
patience.
Enjoy.
Have a good holiday.
Look forward to
You
hearing from you. Thanks. Bye-bye.